In March 2023, a shocking and disturbing case unfolded in Aurora, Colorado, when 44-year-old Angela Craig, a devoted mother of 6 and a deeply religious woman, mysteriously fell ill and died after nearly 2 weeks of unexplained symptoms, leaving doctors confused and her family desperate for answers. But what initially appeared to be a tragic medical mystery quickly turned into a chilling murder investigation that exposed a carefully planned plot involving poison, deception, infidelity, and manipulation by the person who was supposed to love her most, her husband. Dr. James Craig, a respected dentist who had been married to Angela for more than 23 years. To friends and neighbors, the Craigs appeared to be a happy and stable family, living a comfortable life in Colorado where Angela focused on raising their children, practicing her Mormon faith, and pursuing hobbies like genealogy, woodworking, reading, and interior design. But behind the scenes their marriage had been strained for years due to James's repeated infidelity and financial problems, as he had engaged in numerous affairs throughout their marriage and even spent large sums of money on relationships with women he met through websites designed for sugar daddy arrangements, behavior that eventually drove the couple into financial distress and bankruptcy. Yet Angela repeatedly chose to forgive him because of her strong faith and her desire to keep their family together, hoping that reconciliation would preserve stability for their 6 children. But in February 2023, everything began to change when James attended a dental conference in Las Vegas where he met a woman named Karen Kane, an orthodontist from Texas, and within just a few days the two developed an intense romantic connection that quickly escalated into thousands of text messages filled with passionate declarations of love, with James writing poetic messages describing Karen as his eternal soulmate and claiming he wanted to spend his life with her, even though he was still very much married. And in order to pursue this new relationship he lied to Karen by telling her that he was already in the process of divorcing his wife, something that was completely untrue because Angela had no idea her husband was planning to leave her. Around the same time, investigators later discovered that James had begun making disturbing internet searches from a computer at his dental practice, including questions such as how many grams of arsenic will kill a human, is arsenic detectable in an autopsy, and what are the most undetectable poisons, along with watching videos about deadly toxins and researching chemical suppliers, which strongly suggested he was planning something sinister. And within days he ordered arsenic metal online, attempted to purchase another deadly toxin called oleander, and eventually succeeded in buying potassium cyanide from a chemical supplier after falsely claiming that he needed it for a medical experiment related to surgical materials. Shortly after Angela returned home from visiting family in Utah on March 5th, she suddenly began experiencing alarming symptoms including dizziness, vomiting, headaches, and extreme weakness, which quickly became so severe that she sought treatment at a hospital, where doctors ran multiple tests including Mr. Is and blood work but could not determine what was wrong with her, so she was sent home, only to return the next day with worsening symptoms, and within days her condition deteriorated so badly that her children found her crawling across the floor because she could no longer stand up, leading to another hospital admission. Yet even then doctors were still unable to identify the cause of her illness because the poisons affecting her were difficult to detect in routine tests, and during this time, Angela began researching her symptoms online while sending messages to her husband expressing confusion and fear, at one point telling him that she felt drugged, though the only thing she had consumed that morning was a protein shake that James had prepared for her, something that would later become a crucial detail in the investigation because Angela was known to drink protein shakes daily after exercising, and surveillance cameras inside the Craig home later showed James frequently preparing these shakes for her using a specific container that investigators would eventually test for toxins. On March 15th, Angela's health took a sudden and dramatic turn for the worse, prompting her brother to help take her to University Hospital in Aurora, where doctors quickly noticed that her symptoms were consistent with possible poisoning, prompting a forensic nurse to contact police as a precaution, while James sat outside the hospital room, appearing calm as he texted family members and continued messaging Karen, even sending her a photograph from the hospital showing his view into Angela's room while she was fighting for her life, behavior that investigators later described as disturbingly detached. And hospital surveillance footage captured James leaving Angela's room and returning minutes later holding a small object in his hand that authorities believed was a syringe containing cyanide, after which he briefly re-entered her room for less than a minute before coming back out and telling nurses that she was experiencing pain in her arm, and within moments Angela suffered a severe seizure and her condition rapidly deteriorated, leading to her being placed on life support as her organs began to fail. Meanwhile, a key piece of information came from James's dental office when his business partner informed medical staff that a suspicious package delivered to the clinic days earlier had been accidentally opened and contained potassium cyanide ordered by James, raising immediate red flags because such a chemical had no legitimate use in their dental practice. And when Angela tragically died after being declared brain dead, an autopsy confirmed investigators' worst suspicions by revealing that her body contained lethal amounts of cyanide as well as arsenic and tetrahydrozoline, the active ingredient in Visine drops that can be toxic when ingested. And further investigation revealed that James had recently purchased multiple bottles of Visine, while forensic testing of the protein shake container from their home also showed traces of poison, strongly suggesting that he had been gradually poisoning Angela over a period of days through her drinks before administering the final fatal dose at the hospital. Based on this mounting evidence, police arrested James Craig on March 19, charging him with first-degree murder. Yet even after his arrest, the bizarre twists in the case continued because while awaiting trial in jail, he allegedly attempted to recruit fellow inmates to help fabricate evidence that would support his claim that Angela had poisoned herself, offering to pay people to testify falsely that she had confided suicidal plans to them and even asking them to create fake photographs proving they knew her. And when that scheme failed, he reportedly tried to arrange murders from jail, asking a cellmate to find someone willing to kill 3 individuals, including a retired deputy who had treated him harshly after his arrest, the lead detective investigating the case whom he accused of framing him, and another inmate whom he believed had betrayed him by cooperating with authorities. But the cellmate instead reported everything to police, adding even more charges and evidence of Craig's desperation. Prosecutors later presented a powerful case in court showing not only the poison purchases, internet searches, and hospital surveillance footage, but also thousands of romantic messages between James and Karen that revealed his growing obsession with starting a new life without his wife, along with evidence that he stood to benefit from several life insurance policies worth about $4 million if Angela died. While the defense attempted to argue that Angela may have harmed herself due to emotional distress caused by James's affairs, pointing to old diary entries describing her struggles with their troubled marriage, yet investigators found no evidence that Angela had ever researched poisons or planned suicide, while her own search history showed she was desperately trying to understand the illness that was slowly killing her. Ultimately, the jury deliberated for several hours before returning a unanimous verdict finding James Craig guilty of first-degree murder, bringing a devastating but decisive conclusion to the case as he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, along with additional decades for related crimes. And during the emotional sentencing, hearing the couple's eldest daughter address the court, expressing the heartbreak and betrayal she felt toward the father who was supposed to protect their family but instead destroyed it, saying he had once been her hero but would forever be remembered as the villain in her story. While the judge described Angela Craig's murder as a cold and calculated act committed by a man who chose greed, cowardice, and selfish desire over honesty and responsibility, turning a seemingly normal marriage into a chilling example of how deception and obsession can lead to unimaginable tragedy.